Hello, my name's Colby Shergill and I'm the Head of Diversity and Inclusion at Genesis Housing Association. I'm here to share my top 5 tips with you today on what makes an inclusive workplace. My first tip is about having a strategy. Be clear about what your goals are, where you're going, and make sure they actually tie in with your business objectives. It's really important that any strategy helps the business to actually deliver what it's there to do. But it's also really important that your strategy actually ties in with the values and behaviours of an organisation, and buy-in and leadership is absolutely critical. My second tip is about being committed. Don't just have a big bang and say, hey, we've done diversity and inclusion. This is about keeping people informed about what's actually happening. Be creative about how you communicate with people. At Genesis, we have our social internet, which is absolutely great. We have Yammer groups, we have network groups, we have events, so we keep people informed about what the progress is and our strategy, our goals and our objectives. My third tip is about being engaging. Don't just have a paper policy. Create a culture where people are really involved with what's happening. Do things in different ways. Create a culture where people can actually get to understand what the implications of having a diverse and inclusive culture are for their colleagues and for their customers. My fourth tip is actually about being visible. Make the whole process very visible to people. Promote inclusion. Inclusive leadership behaviours are so very important here. What leaders in an organisation do and say actually sends out very, very powerful messages. One of our senior colleagues who's recently joined us at Genesis actually commented that diversity and inclusion at Genesis was very real. It wasn't just a paper policy, it was everywhere that was around us, it was things that were kind of actually happening, it was posters that were up around our offices, but also about how people were actually engaged with what was going on. Make it real and relevant to people. My fifth tip is actually about being flexible. Be prepared to change what your strategy and what your interventions are going to be, because the environment and the world around us is changing all the time. Demographics change, legislation, politics, social thought changes. So be flexible and tailor your messages to your audience.